Alright, this is Zachary Elmore for CGT 445. I'm going to show you some of the code I made for our first prototype and what it should output. So I changed the code a bit so that when it does output data, it would output it from, so column A would be just this column, and then it add in a comma and they just swap over to the second column with the actual data. So right here would be the title for each data, and then it would switch over to column B with the actual hard data numbers and everything. That way everything's not so crunched up and compressed on top of one another. So when playing the game, it should output notifications, as in whenever the player leaves an area or enters an area or jumps or takes damage. Those would be displayed first. I think it's through this code. No, it's not through this code. Yeah, it would be this code. So this code would be displayed first as notifications, and also right here for the jump, this is my code for getting the output for whenever they jump. So whatever zone they jump in through my zone, which is also implemented right here. So I made a variable my zone so that it would keep track of whatever zone they're in currently. So whatever zone they're in currently, that it would set my zone into that specific zone, so that whenever they jump, I know exactly which zone they jump into, and then keep track of which area they jump in, just to figure out if they're just doing it randomly, just having fun, or if there are specific reasons why they are jumping. I can just pinpoint that. And I also total up the number of jumps they use throughout the entire game, right here somewhere. Yeah, right here. So this keeps track of time taken that it takes them to complete the entire game, and then below that should show a boolean whether they got the export or not. Same thing with game completion, which is like, yeah, game completion is right here. Yeah, I had to rearrange all these to make it flow better, or it looks like it's flowing better. This keeps track of the number of jumps they use, jump count. So whenever they jump, it increments, and the other code I showed you would keep track of where they are jumping in which zone. I also made a counting system to determine how many times they get hit by boulders or they jump onto spikes and take damage. Let's see here. Where's that code? Where are you, code? There you are. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. I've lost track of it. Oh, wait, yeah, no, it's right here. So whenever they take damage, the boulder hits would increment by 1, keeping track of how many times they get hit by the boulder or how many times they jump on top of spikes. And right here, this is another reason why I made my zone, so they can also keep track of where they're taking damage at, like which zone they're taking damage in. So wherever they take damage in, it would say, I would get a notification saying spike damage, and then it would show in whatever zone they're in, and then it would spit out the time at what specific time they took damage in for either spikes or boulders right here. And then what I did to what I did to keep track of how many times they take damage, hit counter. I had to implement that in the event tick. So what I did was just take how many times they got hit by boulders, how many times they got hit by stepped on spikes, add those two together, and then just get a total for the hit counter, and then it would just spit that out. Total hits right there. This one, and that's about it. I tried implementing a way to keep track of how much time they spend in each zone, but I ran into some complications into that interfering with when they enter and exit zones. So instead of saying that, it would just I would get no notifications on those, or notifications in general for whenever they get hit by boulders, or whenever they enter or exit of different zones, or how many times they jumped, or I guess where they jumped. All it would do was just spit out very small seconds of whenever they enter in, of whenever how much time they spend in zones. So I had a lot of complications with that code. So whenever I can figure that out, I'll go back and put that code in there so I can actually have that for my data. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And how I determine zones is right here. I made collision boxes. Well, I guess more of notifier boxes, custom notifier boxes. I just duplicated this and then made a separate one and then used those to keep track of zones. So this zone right here is A. This zone, which one is this? C. So this one is C. This zone right here is B. The boulder area would be actually okay. Spike area is E. So then this is D. E is all the way down here. D is from say about here to the entrance all the way to the exit here, and then F is this area right here where you have to pick up the explorer. So that's how I keep track of the zones. So yeah, that's it. That's what I have. Unless you want to see some of the want to see my data outputs, then I'll show you one of them. I only have 3. I was supposed to have 5. Don't know what happened. So here's one of the final ones. Notifiers for whenever they enter and exit my zones. Okay. So here, they entered Zone A, and how this happens is really weird. They enter Zone A, they exit the start room, enter Zone Z, then entered Zone B, exited Zone A and C, which doesn't make any sense. Entered D, exited B, jumped in D twice, entered F, exited F, entered D again, then exited F, jumped in D, took boulder damage 4 times, jumped once again in D, took another boulder damage. Yeah, they kept taking damage, kept trying to jump out of there. Entered back B and then D. So looks like here that they skipped. No, looks like they did go into C. Where's he? Yeah, I guess they entered C and then backtracked and decided to go through the boulder room and then use that path as the main point. Time took 37 seconds. They completed the game. They got the explorer. Jumps total 8. Took 6 hits by the boulders. Total damage 6. And it says 8 jumps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's 8. So yeah, it all spat out that data pretty well. So yeah. So yeah, that's it. So see you next time.